Welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. Today we're going to flip from one thing to another here and there, but while I'm thinking about it and while it's on my mind, this here is one of my favourite crystals in the world. It's, in my humble opinion, the crystal of forgiveness. It's called cavansite. When you see the blue flower there, that's the cavansite. However, the mother stone is equally as powerful. So together, it's an amazing crystal. I have about 100 of these left on my website, and as of late, I've been struggling, literally, to get cavansite. In Pune, there's two mines, two mountains, and there's always people outside the mines waiting to get whatever's left. It's becoming, I believe, harder to get. Get some while you can. That's just a tip. Okay, so if you know your local crystal dealer, go into the shop and ask for a piece of cavansite. You won't be disappointed. It's a fantastic crystal for forgiveness. A great crystal for kids to make them feel better. Great for you when you're feeling down, sad, upset. If somebody's hurt you, if somebody's been awful to you, if you've done something that you wish you hadn't have done, if there's something that you wish you had have done but it was too late, all of those kinds of feelings. This crystal is amazing. Just wear it. You'll understand. Cheers. An organic coffee. Shouldn't. It's to wake me up this morning because I've been working hard last night. Donde mi agua? Gracias. You nearly slurped there, you mucky bugger. How you doing? Welcome. So today we're going to talk about spirit and the power of the spirit world and how they gently nudges, influences when we are on our path. Now, we could talk about spirit nudging us and gently pushing us when we're not on our path to be on our path, but when we're on our path, sometimes we don't want to be on that path all the time. This is really controversial, but really it's something that needs to be heard, especially for those who are practitioners, who are working hard and might think to themselves, what the bloody hell's he talking about? Once you're on your path, that should be it. So after about 11 years of working full time, going to country after country, cleansing, clearing, helping spirit back into the light. I'm going to talk about that later in another video about spirit, helping spirit back into the light and what's happening right now. It's a kind of sad tragedy at the moment because a lot of beautiful souls are being trapped in between two worlds for, again, I can't say why because I don't want to lose my channel, but there is definitely an increase of heavy energy now, and that's because spirit trapped in between two worlds produces a very dense and heavy energy, which definitely sends a ripple effect through the universe for sure. This actually is connected to what I'm talking about. So it got to the point where I think I'm going to share two stories from my book. I am. So getting up every morning was a blessing 11 years ago. So I'd spent 11 years working and getting up every morning. Even after 11 years, it was a blessing. It was a joy. It was like, okay, I'm ready for a new day. You know, people used to call me the modern day Ghostbuster because I used to go into properties and clear that energy out of that property, wherever it was in the world. People were coming to me with attachments and negative energy, and I was clearing it, and people were coming to me for advice on a spiritual level, and it seemed to be a beautiful point in my life. However, I was getting to the point where I was getting really not tired, but something was pushing me on a different direction, and I didn't know whether it was spirit or whether it was just my spirit. So me being an individual spirit I also have the right and the free will to choose what I want in my life, just like you do. But the spirit world likes to influence us and gently nudges us to be able to help humanity as a whole. And let me tell you this as a fact. If you're a working healer, you've just started, to the spirit world, they don't see you and I in this physical body form. They don't really truly understand the body physical form. They just see as there's no time and space, and it doesn't matter what you're going through, you're going to go back home one day, so everything that you do should be done for the higher good. To a degree, I agree. But what is higher good? And at the end of the day, when spirit is influencing us to do something, they're doing it because of what their, I don't want to say agenda, but what their path and goal is that day. So the spirit world works hand in hand with the real world, as this world is real to us. It's just an illusion. Yes, it's true. It's all an illusion. But it's our illusion. It's my illusion. It's your illusion right now, what you're seeing, what you're feeling. So at that time, after 11 years, I said, you know what? I'm tired of this. And I'd like to do something else. I don't want to do one-to-ones anymore. I don't want to go to houses. I don't want to go to churches. I don't want to go to old properties. I don't want to go to businesses. I don't want to sit with people one-to-one and do that anymore. I want to write books. I want to share my message to the masses. For those who can't see me, I had a lot of grief of people who were getting so angry because they couldn't get an appointment. So that was challenging in itself. And I thought, well, kind of makes sense that that's happened, because now I need to transition to be able to share the message more about, what I'm sharing, so more people can hear it. And I started doing a YouTube channel, and I'm thinking I'd like to expand on that. And I'd also like to slow down on my work and completely, eventually, just become a teacher of the work. So basically a guide. So more people would come to me, and then eventually at once, and then it would spread more. And like now I've got two online courses, which people go on to every day and become pure energy healers in 4 days. Well, they start the path after that 4 days, then they start. So that's what my thoughts and my dreams were now expanding to a different path. So now I'm kind of wanting to go off the path that I was on onto another path, which was still equally as important, if not more so, to many people in the world. And as you can see now, if you look at my videos, the top 3 videos, they've reached a few 100,000, and one has reached a few million. So it did happen. It did happen that way, and it did work. So it's not like I'm looking back saying, oh, it all went wrong. Actually, it all went right. So, but at the time, it was challenging, because you might think, people would get upset and angry because you don't want to do one-to-ones, and that's true. But there was something even more profound than that, and actually more... you can't explain it really, because you can't get angry with the second one. With the first one, you can get angry because people are nasty. People can be nasty. People can be really horrible and selfish, especially when they're desperate. And I coped with that. But then the other side of this is about spirit gently nudging you, pushing you. So the first story I'd like to share with you about the power of spirit and how they continually try to lead us down the spiritual path of healing in so many ways was the day I was kind of like, I just didn't really understand why I was watching a TV program. And it was about a group of men who decided to go on a travel. And that travel was to, heal themselves from pain and suffering. And it was called the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. And I watched this and I thought, I think I need to do this. And my partner then said to me, why? I said, I don't know. And but you're already doing this work. This is for people who are trying to heal. And, you know, I said, no, I need to go on it. And I need to go on my own. I don't know why, but I just feel as if I need to go. Remember that I'm now finishing all of this. So I'm feeling that I've got this feeling. Where's this feeling coming from? Is it coming from me? I was a bit confused, but I go with feelings. I go with my feelings. So I pack my bag. I get everything in there that I need to put in, and not really realizing that I was filling it that much, that it was so heavy. And I'm thinking, you know, no, I'm not thinking actually. I'm just doing it, piling stuff in. So I got my backpack and I set off on the journey. We get onto the coach, and I said to the coach driver, I need to be at this particular destination, which would have given me a few days to walk. And he said, okay, anyway, it never happened. We ended up going further. Which is okay, went a little bit further, no problem. It was about another hour further. So I get out, and it's a bit cold in the morning. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a bit cold. And then I realised I haven't got a jacket. I didn't put a jacket. Duh. So there was only one shop in this little village, and it was an outdoor shop, and all the jackets just didn't fit me apart from one. But this one was really expensive. It was like 290 some, and I can't afford that. And as I'm walking out, the lady said the 70% discount. Something like that. I went, okay. She told me it was a massive discount. Anyway, it ended up being really the only one what fitted me, and it was lovely. It was like a grey, and inside was yellow, perfect, and it had this special lining, and it was light as a feather. So I bought it, and I set off, and just as I'm setting off walking, this girl catches up to me and then starts talking to me. And I didn't want to be rude, but I said, look, I'm on this this route, but I felt really bad. I said, but I don't know why, but I need to be on my own, because I think she was trying to, you know, be happy that she's found somebody to walk with. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to understand what my journey was about, why I was pulled on this journey. If I would have, and she was a lovely girl. I felt so guilty, but I had to be true. So I was saying no, but saying yes to myself, and I was listening to myself. Conversation wasn't part of the journey. It was about me walking and feeling something and experiencing something. I remember what made it so interesting was that I packed a load of crystals with cards in, and every hour I'd look for a place and I'd drop a card and a crystal in a nice holder and just keep walking. It made me feel good. So somebody would pick it up and find it, and there'd be a nice crystal and a message in there. So as I'm walking, it's now getting later and later, and the view's beautiful, following the signs, and, you know, it's hot. It's quite hot. But as it's getting darker and darker, I'm realising it's getting a little bit colder and colder, and still didn't understand why I was on the walk, and still trying to, you know, wait for this amazing download of information as I'm walking. But no, nothing, just walking. Feet hurting a little bit. Stopped a few times, drunk some water, found some wells, drunk some water from the springs, and continued. And now it's getting a little bit more darker and a little bit more colder, and I'm like, I haven't seen anywhere to sleep, and I didn't bring a map. I tried to find it on my phone, but couldn't find a route map finder because it was all weird. It wasn't easy for dummies. So I'm looking for somewhere to sleep now, and there's nowhere, and it's getting a little bit darker and a little bit darker, and now I'm getting a little bit kind of worried, and it's, you know, 7, 8, 9 hours pass, and it's now 8 o'clock, and I'm walking. Now it's 9 o'clock, and I'm walking, and it's getting darker, and now it's 9:30, and I'm getting a little bit worried now as I'm walking because there's nowhere open. I keep walking. It's now 10 o'clock, and it gets to 10:30, and all of a sudden, thank God, as I turned a corner, I could hear some people talking, and I looked up, and there's some grass, and there's a big house with people outside eating. Oh my God, thank you. So I walk in, and I said to the Spanish guy, es posible comida, I'd like to eat. I'm not very good at Spanish. And he said, sí, no pasa nada. And I sit down, I said, is there somewhere to sleep? He said, see, number 9. Got number 9. It cost €20 to eat and to sleep the night. So I had something to eat. It was vegetables. I had some vegetables and some potatoes, something like that. It was very nice. And some fruit, a little bit of fruit. And I sat down outside for a bit on a hammock, actually. No inspiration, listening to other people kind of talking in Spanish, dogs barking. And I thought, I'm going to go to bed. I'm having an early night, which then it was about 11 o'clock, 11:15. Spanish like to stay up late, and that's normally when they eat, about 10, 11 o'clock. So I went up to bed, and I went up to the stairs, walked along the corridor, number 9, opened the door. Oh, shit. No. I shut the door, went back downstairs. I said, perdone, es posible una cama solo, uno dormitorio solo? No. Basically, I'd opened the door and there was bunk beds. 1, 2, 3, I think 3 bunk beds. Or was it 4? There was one person in there already. Now, to me, that is kind of my worst nightmare. So I had no choice. He said, no, there's nowhere else to sleep. So with the sickest of feeling, knowing what I knew, I went back upstairs and tried to deny that feeling. Put my bag up on top, climbed up, took partly my clothes off, and I tried to go to sleep. Within an hour, which I couldn't sleep, within an hour, everybody piled into the room and I had my eyes closed. Yeah, not good for me. And then all of a sudden, the worst nightmare came to light. It happened. It started. The symphony of snoring. And I don't do snoring at all. I don't do it well. I actually hear a pin dropping on a night. So my frustration grew and grew and grew when all of a sudden there was a finale of snoring. I just jumped out of the bed, grabbed everything and went out of the door. Ran downstairs, put all my clothes on, and as I'm going out the door, the man says, "Perdone, ¿dónde va? Where you going?" I says, "Hombre, es imposible." Impossible. And he said, no va, no casas, no más, there's no more hotels as you keep walking, there's no more so-and-sos. And I'm thinking, yeah, whatever. So I'm off. Didn't believe him. Yeah, of course you're going to say that, aren't you? Because there's going to be another one just a little bit further on the road for sure. So I'm walking and it's very dark now. I put my phone light on, and as I'm walking, I'm seeing the signs. So I'm following the signs, and now I'm on like a dirt track. And as I'm walking on the dirt track, now all of a sudden I'm walking through fields. I've got this phone. It's on about 40% battery, and I've got the phone light on, looking down, trying to walk through fields. I'm thinking after 5 minutes, oh my God, that was terrible. Thank God I'm out of there. After about 25, 30 minutes, I'm like, there's no lights anywhere. There's no houses. There's no hostels. After about an hour, I'm realizing that should I turn back around and go back and sleep in that? It was too late now. I've gone too far. And that's when I started, in my mind, I out loud saying, why do you do these things, Mark? Why do you always get yourself into these situations? What is wrong with you, Mark? Why are you like this? And I'm getting stressed and upset, and it's getting darker, and now it's getting colder and colder and colder. Now we're up to about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I pass a village, everything's all closed. It was not like a village, it was like different kinds of houses here and there, but all locked up. Should I knock on a door? No, you can't disturb anybody. Keep walking past that. Nothing else now. Now it's 2 o'clock. It's getting to 2:30, 3 o'clock. Okay, I need to sit down somewhere. I need to sit down, lie down. It's freezing cold now. I'm going, and there's like the vapors of the cold in the air. I took off my jacket and went into my bag that I'd put in lots of stuff in there. I basically shoved loads of socks on my hands, put 3 pairs of socks on, tops, loads of tops on, 2 pairs of jeans, and I put everything on, and I rubbed loads of oil and all sorts on me, and ate certain things, and all of these things that I'd prepared. Didn't know why, but now I understood why. So I'm now lying down, trying to sleep in the freezing cold of the Spanish night, and I couldn't, and I'm feeling terrible, and I'm thinking terrible thoughts, and I'm so upset with myself. Nobody else, just with myself. And then it hits about 3 o'clock, and I realise that there's no way I'm going to sleep. It's freezing. So I get up and I start to walk. I actually took a photo of me walking in the freezing cold. Maybe one day I'll show you, just to, I don't know where, if I put it somewhere, but I might have taken it down, or I can't remember, but I kept it to myself, and it was horrible. It was awful. I looked awful. I looked dreadful, and it was freezing. It was dark. So it's 3 o'clock, right? Or 3:15, and I'm thinking, okay, just keep walking till it gets light. I'd given up, like I've surrendered myself to that night. So I just started walking, gutted feeling, felt sick, emotional, traumatized by all of this. Why did I leave my beautiful academy to do this? I didn't need to do it. What is wrong with me? All sorts of thoughts and feelings going on. Anyway, as I'm walking, it's silent, deadly silent. And now I'm hearing like a baby crying. And I'm thinking, that baby cry sounds like, it's probably 2 cats. You know when 2 cats are fighting or whatever they're about to do? It's like a bit like that. And I'm like, okay, so there's 2 cats ahead. As I'm walking, I see in the distance, and I shine the light, an old farm building with 2 stories. And as I'm walking and getting closer, I'm realizing that cry isn't animals. It sounds like a little girl crying. Weird. So I'm getting closer and closer. And all of a sudden, I see this girl with long hair, small, with kind of like a white dress, if I can remember it right, holding what looked like some kind of doll, but with a head missing. And as I'm getting closer and I'm looking up and seeing this, I realise that this is spirit now. This is spirit trapped in between 2 worlds. And as I get closer, the image disappears. And I realised, okay, I went into this mode, this mode of a healer. I went straight up to the building and I sat down, turned my back, leant against the building, closed my eyes, and went straight into my work. I went into my work, which is to try and communicate to spirit trapped in between 2 worlds. So I now start getting warm. I get fuzzy feeling and get this warmth and inner peace. No more pain and suffering and worrying and fearing and moaning and why. All of a sudden I go into this really beautiful place of warmth and healing. And all of a sudden I start to try to communicate with the spirit that was crying. And it was a young girl, little girl. And she comes in my mind's eye. She's around me. And I can see now that she's there. And now I'm trying to communicate. And then I got an image, like a film, showing me of a girl stood there with a father who accidentally knocks the girl from behind because he was either moving something, or was it a bale of straw or whatever it is, bangs her. She falls out of the, because he didn't see her there. She falls out of the top and breaks her neck and dies instantly. At that point, she's trapped in between two worlds. So I then try and explain that Daddy didn't mean to do it. It was an accident, because in her energy, her dad had hurt her. So I explained all of these things, and all of a sudden then I see an image again of a girl, again the same as that girl, but holding a dolly's head. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And then, oh my God, she's a twin. And a twin sister showing herself in the same age, saying that I'm waiting for you with a doll, come to me. So I'm now trying to get this trapped spirit in denial girl to go through into the light, because her sister's waiting with the doll's head and her dad and her mum. And I'm saying, everybody's there. Just follow the energy into the light. Just move into the energy. Move into this energy around me, because you create this energy. We call it the light, but it's not light. It's an energy. And it's like an energy that clearing this room so spirit can come forward and help. Anyway, she comes in to this energy and they all come together. And now spirit is back home with her sister and her mum and dad. So she's now back home. See, for me to say spirit's back home with the mum and dad, that's just a way of saying she's now in the pool of the ocean of spirit world. As I get up, yeah, I can still feel it now. Sometimes, yeah, I feel it all, even now. So I get up and I start walking, and now everything makes sense. All the pieces have come together. And there's something in that, guys, that we all have to be aware of. Sometimes we don't know why things happen until afterwards. And if we can stop getting upset about the moment that we don't understand why things are happening, to the point where we can say, okay, I'm not going to start thinking about this and getting upset about it, because it will all be revealed in good time. So as I'm walking, I'm going, oh my God. And the moral of this story is that I wanted to stop my spiritual path, in the sense of do something else and not do one-to-ones. And yet spirit had gently nudged me onto a path at 3 o'clock in the morning, an exact time to be able to help that girl trapped in between two worlds move back home. Isn't that kind of fascinating and incredible how spirit works? How they must have organized this for all of this to happen, for the bus driver to not stop when I asked him to stop, and went 1 more hour to get to where I needed to be. So they knew that the length of time that I was going to walk to get to this place, to have something to eat and then go upstairs, and for everybody to snore, get everybody in there to snore, for me to get out of that building and walk so many more hours to that point where spirit had arranged for me at that moment to help this beautiful girl into the light. The power of spirit is incredible, and the outcome of that walk was exactly that. It wasn't about enlightenment, it wasn't about understanding anything, it was about helping spirit trapped in between two worlds. I remember coming home and saying, like I said, you can't get angry with spirit, they're only doing their job. And they expect us to do our job, even when we say we don't want to do it anymore. So when I came home and I explained this story and I said, this is for the book. This is one for my book, Seeing the Invisible. And I said, but that's it. I just looked up. I said, that guys, no more. Ain't gonna happen anymore. Not listening to you anymore. Leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do. And if you want to come and help me do what I want to do, then please, I'm here for you to come and help me what I want to do. Get it? Comprende? Capiche? Right? So I'm going to take a holiday now, and I'm going to go to an island. So this was a few months later. So the holiday was arranged, went to the island. for some reason, somebody was asking me desperately to stay at their house. I didn't want to stay at their house. I wanted to stay on my own, but they were saying, please. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to end up doing lots of work for them and healing work and all this. And I don't want to do, I just need time to write my book. Okay. Please, just stay, please stay. Okay. So it's a big house and there's a beautiful place where I could stay on my own and like a nanny house and an outbuilding. It was beautiful. Of course, I ended up doing a healing session for this person, but I went off for the day and then started writing my book. And then I thought, oh, I'd like something to eat now. So I went for something to eat. Everything was closed. Oh, okay, I'll go home now then, but it's like weird. Everything's closed. Everywhere I went, everything was closed. Like, this is weird. Okay, I'm just going to go home. There was some fruit in the fridge. So I get home to this place. I got my key, opened the door, shut it. Doom, doom, doom. Knock at the door. I open the door. There's this man there. And he's a family member who just happened to come at the same time that night. And I went, hi. And he said, can I talk to you? And I said, yeah. And he's got a bandage all around his hand. So I went through into the house, and all of a sudden he started pouring his heart out of everything. It wasn't really his heart, it was his suffering, it was his guilt. And basically what it was, what started to happen from that moment was he started to tell me stuff that no man would have told another soul. But the fact that he burned himself that afternoon and went to the hospital to heal the burns, they gave him, let's say, some drugs. And those drugs were like a truth drug. Isn't it funny how it all works out? His partner had just arrived from another country and he hadn't seen for a while. And he starts telling me of his... I can't really explain what it is, but his desire every year, which accumulates inside him to cause great harm to another woman in a ritualistic manner. And as he was talking, I'm thinking, I can't believe what I'm hearing here and what he wants to do to another human being. My hand raised up as my eyes were closed. As he was speaking, my hand, like a magnet, touched his heart. And as he's talking, mumbling, my hand was burning on his heart. And I could feel the power of spirit running through me, touching his heart and burning him, burning the evil thoughts in his heart and mind. And the sweat was pouring off me. And he stopped and started shaking. And this lasted for about 10, 15 minutes. I don't know how long. And I took my hand away and it was gone. Whatever was in him had just disappeared. And I turned and walked out. Again, the next morning I left and I thought, you've done it again, haven't you? Why is it that you're always bringing me to places that I have to be involved in this? It's like it's never ending. Even if I say, please don't, the spirit is always there trying to guide us to create and heal and to make the world a better place. I come to terms with that particular night that I knew that if I wasn't there, something bad could have happened. And I know from what this person said to me that he'd done some terrible things, and I know these things happen. I know there are huge clubs in the world, satanic clubs doing terrible things even to this day, this moment. And I think to myself, maybe, just maybe, spirit had saved somebody's life that night. I guess what I'm trying to say is today, if you're a healer, if you're, and I don't mean a practitioner, I'm talking about somebody who cares and loves. I think spirit is always there to try and influence us, trying to nudge us, trying to push us down a path of help in this world in any way we can. Whether it's a hug, whether it's a hand, holding somebody's hand, whether it's gifting somebody something, whether it's a caring ear, whether it's just sending our love and emotions of healing to somebody where they're somewhere else or near us, or a simple action that we do. I believe that we are part of this world. We are here because of the reasons of making a difference in this world. Some of us maybe not, but most people who are good and kind and caring, I think that's our journey and path. And no matter what happens in life, no matter how hard we try to say to spirit, you know what, I just want a break, I don't think that they listen in that sense. I think they always try and say, look, you're here for a reason, Mark, and every single day is a blessing, and every single day should be a day of healing and helping. So don't take it personal. Don't feel that we're pushing you and we're being, hard on you. We just realize that at the moment of your last breath, you'll look back and you'll understand why. And I think the moral of today's story is that whatever we do and whatever painful moment we're going through, if it's depression, if it's sadness, if it's like I don't even want to be here anymore, I think that there's more to it than them thoughts and feelings. Just like me walking along feeling, what have I done? Why have I gone through? Why am I going through all of this? And instead of focusing on that pain and suffering, we have to learn to go with it. And we have to try and put the pieces together why we're feeling like this. And sometimes it's not always personal. Sometimes there's a bigger picture, and sometimes that's something that we need to do, and we need to change in our life, or we need to do for the sake of humanity, our brothers and sisters, and of the spirit world. It's not all cut and dry. It's not all black and white. It's not all, I've got depression because the world's a bad place. No, it might be far more than that. There might be something that you need to do to find your power, to strengthen yourself and realize who you are. And the pain and suffering that we go through is only merely a reminder of how powerful we are. But yet we're in that doubt, pain and suffering, and everything's going to go wrong, and why me, and blame, instead of saying, okay, there's something in this. I often see people who never react to anything in the world, never see anything in the world, never do anything in the world. And I think to myself, these people are on holiday. They're not really in this world at all. They're walking and they're talking, but they're not actually doing anything. What would you rather be, Mark? Would you rather be on holiday, or would you rather go through these emotions of pain and suffering to be able to come out at the other end and see why? Because it's nothing personal. Everybody who's a sensitive, tends to think this is personal. And it's not personal. Nothing's personal. It's just the experience, and then learning to understand what that experience is. But maybe today's message isn't about learning to understand it, but learning to accept it and know that the outcome will be given to you. But the most important thing is to keep going and to not let it be personal. If I'm to go on that journey again and to find myself in that situation again, I've learned from it, so I won't feel pain and suffering. I'll just say, okay, there's something happening here, so I'll just keep going. And if it needs to be revealed, it will be. And if it doesn't, I'll just keep going. Everything gets revealed in the end. It really does. But sometimes it takes longer than what we want it to be. I want to know now. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, but I want to know now. Yeah, maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's the lesson, my friend. Yeah, but I'm in pain and I want it to stop. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe you're going to keep being in pain because you're not learning what you need to learn. You're not understanding why you're going through this pain. You're not understanding what you need to do to become stronger than this pain. So the pain will keep coming till you stop and look, observe and see what's going on and trust that moment and see it. And when it comes, it comes. So I look for it, but I'm not searching for it. I'm just saying it'll appear when it does. I think most of us stop looking and we just put our head in the sand and we just want it all to stop. And that to me is the most dangerous path that we can walk. So today, hold your head up high. Through the pain that you go through, just like me every day, you're a warrior. You're a light worker. You're a sensitive. You're beautiful. You're not a zombie. You're not blind. You are one rare, beautiful soul who feels. I would rather feel than not. I would rather experience than not. I think it's time for us all to sit down in the peace and the stillness and to allow the messages to flow into us. It's now more than ever important not to get tangled up in these crazy days and all the badness that is around us. Those that are influenced, who are blind, influenced by darkness that's always poking you, nudging you, poking you, belittling you, mocking you, judging you, calling you names, saying that you're this and you're that. Maybe our lesson is to become stronger than the darkness. And those that are influenced by the darkness, that are taken over by the darkness and don't even know it. Maybe we have to become the warriors. Stand strong. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. No one has the power over you. Repeat it to me now. Say it. No one has the power over me. Say it. No one has the power over me. Unless you let them. Don't. You're amazing. I hope you enjoyed these stories today and the truth about spirit and how they nudge us and gently push us back onto a path. It's all because of love. It really is. Thank you guys for going to markbajerski.com and buying your authentic oils, which I've been using for 2 decades. All the incense that has helped me every day. The most amazing incense in the world that cleanses and clears me every day. And the oils that I used on that journey, on the Camino, that helped me tremendously up to the point where I needed to do my work. And of course, all the crystals that I've worked with. Each individual crystal that is on my website that I've worked on just for you. I hope you enjoy them and work with them every day. Take care.